Alice, Sweet Alice from 1976. Summary for this film: in 1961, suburban New Jersey, a withdrawn adolescent girl is suspected of her younger sister's brutal murder during her first communion and a series of subsequent stabbings. Directed by Alfred Sole, written by Rosemary Ritvo and Alfred Sole. What do you got, Jason?
Tagline: a story of a natural love and a natural death. Distributed by Allied Artists and out on Blu-ray through, well, it has a couple releases. I have the Arrow video released in 2019.
Yeah, couple cast highlights here. Linda Miller as Catherine Spages. She was I added this because of this connection. She was the daughter of Jackie Gleason and the ex-wife of The Exorcist's Jason Miller. So, that's
How about
a fun
that?
thing. And also, we have Brooke Shields, and I believe this is her first film role. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's
she
correct.
plays the young Karen Spages.
Hold on. Let's stop right here for a second, though.
Yeah.
If this was her first film, well, I guess maybe I'm looking at it from the Blu-ray release. Maybe they did it with the theatrical release or the initial release, but it seems like they're pushing her hard. Like, I get it now, like putting her name on the cover, but did they do that when this came out? Because, I mean, she was a nobody, right?
Nah, they didn't know who Brooke Shields was. She was just a little girl.
It's just a little girl. Okay,
it has to be after the fact. Once again, this is one of these movies that focuses. There's a lot of scenes where there's kids fighting, and as a person who has 3 kids fighting, I'm dealing with it right fucking now. They're making me go nuts. I don't like that. I don't like it. I don't want to see it. It's not entertainment to me. It's terrible. And the kids are all annoying too, so that doesn't help. The most interesting character in this movie to me is the landlord, Mr. Alfonso. And then I looked into him more just because I wanted to know. He seemed familiar, and he's in. I can't remember the film. I didn't write it down. Blood-sucking freaks or something like that. That's the only other role. But the thing that was interesting I read about him was that he apparently shot himself, like he killed himself, after a story about him getting stuck in a turnstile was printed in newspapers. And I was like, fuck, that's dark. And it was a show on the IMDb trivia. But yeah, crazy. He is, he's my favorite character in the movie. He apparently, when he wasn't acting, was a bouncer at a gay bar. Another interesting side fact for Mr. Alfonso. You know what I didn't write down? His real name. So look it up yourself, kids. They seem to have written the movie in a really confusing way on purpose. I saw it right out of the way because I've been burned by shit like this before. I was like, I know what they're doing. They're going to try to fucking confuse me and then twist it for no reason at the end. I guess if you liked all these people, you might have some sort of investment in the storyline, but I don't care about any of their fates, and I don't care if they find out who killed Brooke Shields or stabbed the aunt, and I especially don't care if that couple reunites. Don't care. I ultimately thought all of the stabbings were basically the same because they used the same knife. It was a retractable blade. It looked like a retractable blade. But it's shot well. I will say that. The whole story could have been told in a much more abbreviated manner. And it has the same feel as the 1972 Tales from the Crypt movie to me. And I think if they would have condensed this shit down to like 20 minutes and stuck it in that movie, it would work out great. It needs to be in an anthology and it needs to be shorter. Just because there's not enough meat on these bones. I don't think they're trying to pull shit. They're just pulling shit out of nothing. Why is the killer the killer? Why is that? Does that make sense to anybody? Can someone explain?
Well, she wanted the cross or whatever it was.
Wait. Time out. Okay, so this brings me to you just Mrs. Trudani we're talking about.
Why is she what's her motivation to kill all these people and do this?
All right, I was confused on this too, because at one point, Jason, I watched this twice. I was like, are there two killers happening here? Is Karen? No, not Karen? Alice. Is Alice actually doing stuff? Like, it's so much red herring stuff going on. And I know you bought it. I don't know if it was a blind buy or you've seen it before and you dug it.
Yeah, I see it.
All right, so enlighten us, because me and Aaron were both confused.
I just did about as much as I like. I don't. I mean, she wanted that cross or whatever that the preacher gave to Alice's sister. So that's why she was knocked off.
The rosary beads and shit.
Yeah, like I don't know if there was something else behind why she wanted it.
It looked like they were trying to make it seem like she was in love with that guy, that priest, or whatever.
I'm sure there's something more than just I like that, I want it, I'm gonna kill you.
But then the thing that made me say fuck this movie is at the end, whenever Alice has the spoiler alert, she has the knife and she pulls it out. What are you doing, you fucking motherfuckers? That you know. Was she doing shit the whole time? What are you doing? You're just being confusing to me. We're not wrapping anything up. They're not leaving it loose and open. Anybody can write this. Just nothing's tied together, not tied up.
Well, so did you know who the killer was?
I never expected it, and then whenever
they had me fooled. I mean, I know it was
you're
like, saying they threw out a bunch of stuff.
I'm just saying they could have made it fucking anybody. They could have made it the way they did it. There was no connection. They could have made it fucking Pat Sajak, and it would have made just as much sense.
You're looking at it as a negative. I'm looking for it or at it as more of a positive. There's not. I don't know. I feel like half the movies I watch, I guessed the killer right from the get-go. This one completely fooled me.
Now, if they would have taken it and sewn it up, been like, this is why she was like this, and this is why she did it, this was her motivation, because most movies that do a twist like this, you can after the fact go, oh yeah, that all makes sense. This doesn't make sense to me. She raised this dude and then she got jealous or whatever. I don't know. I give it a 4. That's it.
Yeah.
It's shot well. It's shot really well.
Well, so what do we have here? Is this I mean, this plays out a lot like a Giallo, and Frank, I'm sure you're not a fan of that subgenre to begin with.
Some of it,
but
this was released in a box set of slashers.
So
that's what they're considering it.
Yeah, I would call it a gothic slasher, or I would even call it a horror drama. Like there's, it's definitely not your typical slasher, and that kind of makes sense because this came out before the glory days of the '80s when slashers were booming. This didn't have a kind of a template to follow. Structure didn't really have too many tropes, but anyway, I like this movie. I would say, without going through a list of movies, I would say it's probably in my top 10 of 70s horror. I really like this movie. Originally titled Communion, the production company didn't like that, so they switched it to Alice, Sweet Alice. Definitely not. It's not perfect. It's slow. I think it has pacing issues. It doesn't have a lot of kills. The runtime's a little long, an hour 47. They for sure could have got this story done in 90 minutes or less. But that's what I like it. I think everything's well done. I think the score is good. The acting is solid. Solid cast. I like the atmosphere. I really, really love old churches and old hospitals. And it has just very strong, it has that 70s feel to it. You see the old cars and the buildings and the way people dress. It's refreshing to me because most of the slashers I watch are from the 80s. Again, this had to be fooled on the killer, which is more of a negative in your eyes. But this movie is also sexually creepy.
Yeah.
Like Alice sucking on her fingers. That big
She was
fat dude.
She was 19 when they shot that.
Well, yeah, but she's playing like 13 or 14-year-old. Like she's sucking on her fingers, and
the one scene that the guy with the telegraph or whatever, the lie detector test, he's like, "Did you see how she looked at me when I was strapping her in?
Yeah,
like she wanted me to touch her
some
boobies." He says boobies, I think.
There's definitely some sexual creepy stuff going on here.
Well,
and the fat dude, what is that? Piss on his pants, or
I don't know, man.
Probably
semen stains, or what's going on here?
He's gross, though.
They made a great job making him disgusting.
Yeah.
And fun fact, and I think you mentioned her, but I think her name's Linda Miller, the actress.
Yeah,
she plays Catherine, the mom.
Mm-hmm.
In front of cast and crew, and in the middle of the movie, walks in and front of everyone, slits her wrist. She goes to the hospital.
Like she tried to kill herself?
Yeah, she walked. They said she walked in, mumbled something, and slit her wrist. Went to the hospital, got stitched up or whatever. Came back and finished the movie. I was like, it's the 70s.
There's your movie.
You slice your wrist right now, like you go straight to the loony bin. Like you don't go back and finish a movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this movie. I give it an 8. What do you think, John?
I thought it was really slow. This is one of those ones I remember in the video store. I remember that VHS box. It was a creepy cover. I never saw it when I was a kid. This was my first time seeing it. And hour 47, way too long. I mean, hour 20, maybe it stretches to the 90s, but almost 2 hours is like, this isn't The Hobbit. Come on. I read that it was partially inspired by, and I'm going to butcher his name, Nicholas Roeg, R-O-E-G. Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland. They said the usage of the raincoats was really inspired them to use it. And if you guys haven't seen that, I suggest checking that out. That thing's sick. My favorite character was the landlord. He was like the most genuine. Like I don't think he was acting that much. No, like I think maybe they slapped some dirty clothes on him. But no, he was
maybe.
He was just the most. He delivered the most on the scenes he was in. Alice, oh God, shut up, dude! Like just shut your mouth. And you know what, care to actually everyone just be silent for an hour and 47 minutes. Just do that. Everyone shut up. You know. So here was my biggest gripe: was the killing. I didn't understand the cross. It seems such a hollow reason. It's for her. She's super deeply religious. So something for her, I feel like, was the priest her son?
Yeah.
Like
something like that. She raised him or something.
Or she gave him up for adoption because of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or how about this? Was the priest like banging Alice's mom? Is that why he was so touchy-feely to give Karen the cross? Out of anyone, it's Karen?
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
It was so weird the way the mother was like, "You're going to look so pretty for the father," or whatever. You know, she kept calling him, what was his name? Ted or something like
Tom?
that. Yeah, some I don't know. By the way, there is one thing that I loved about this movie: the death of the father character. Whenever the reveal of the killer, he like gets what happens exactly? They're up in that old building and he falls onto some bottles. What'd she do? Slit his throat or something? I can't remember. That was the highlight of the movie for me. I watched this one.
I mean, I thought that the kill of Brooke Shields. I thought that was great. I mean, shove her in a box and light her on fire in a church. Like that's. I was like, oh my God. But I tell you what, if they would have had more kills, if they would have gave us more meat on this, I think it would have took care of your guys' problem of necessarily knowing exactly why she was killing and just.
If they would have made a variety of the kills, everything was that same knife. They even said in the IMDb thing, they only had one knife and they used it for, that was it. If that would have broke, they would have had to fucking figure some shit out. But yeah, I don't regret watching it, even though it's a 4. I'd never seen it before. I have a reference on it now. It was shot well. I think people should watch it. I mean, as far as class, like I would recommend it just like Rosemary's Baby. I don't like that movie either, but I think that people should watch it.
Wait, did John? Did you give it a rating?
I gave it a 4.
A 4. You're both 4s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of 4s.
We actually had like the same gripes.
Yeah.
I was like, so I can't remember if you messaged me or I messaged you. I was like, dude, you said you were watching Alice, and I was like, oh boy, get ready because I have questions.
Yeah, you sent me.
Like, Jason, I have questions.
You sent me.
I'm the wrong person for that.
You sent me
the only point of reference we have.
Yeah, you had sent me a message saying, you said, have you watched Alice yet? I have questions, and I was like, no, I haven't watched it yet. And then as soon as I watched it, I was like, yeah, that shit don't make no sense or something.